Hello everybody, my name is Sniping is Fun, and Smash speculation season is upon us with the newly announced Smash Brothers game coming out for the Nintendo Switch. And like I did with Super Smash Bros. 4, I'm basically going to be doing a lot of speculation and theories and whatnot, and questionnaires and discussions and whatnot with Smash Bros. 5 or whatever the heck this Smash Bros. Game is coming out for the Switch sometime in 2018. I'm going to be doing the 5 list, top 10s, like how I used to do with Smash Bros. 4. All that's going to happen, but that's going to come eventually within the coming weeks and months. I'm not jumping aboard just yet, but it's coming really, really soon. So the return of the Sniping is Fun Smash speculation train of a billion freaking crap ton videos is coming, and I'm going to be talking about individual characters and franchises and questionnaire type stuff and asking myself certain things like, does this character make this, that? Like, what about, if you looked at my stuff from before, like how I did Smash Bros. 4 stuff, a lot of that stuff and more I'm going to try to do for this one. But before that actually happens, and before I actually even remotely get into speculating on what I feel should and shouldn't be in the game and various things, talking about different topics and percentage chances of things appearing or not appearing, and whatever that moveset ideas and assist trophies and stages and characters and whatnot, I think it'd be best to actually start off with a video personally, just kind of going over what do I personally want to see in this next Smash Brothers. What do I want to see? Because if I don't come up with like what I personally want to see and kind of go, and give you guys information and think about like what do I as a fan of Smash Bros. Franchise even remotely want to see for myself, I can't really go on a speculation train and kind of go from there and talk about this stuff if I don't have a base starting point of what do I personally as a fan want to see. Because when it gets into speculation, you're starting to get into stuff that sometimes you don't personally want, but you think makes sense. Because a lot of stuff when I was doing Smash Bros. 4 speculation, a lot of the characters and stages and stuff like that are not stuff I personally wanted to see, but there were ideas that just kept flowing into my head of stuff that made sense to fit into the game because of popularity, relevancy, history, or whatever the heck else. So a good starting point right here, right now, is basically just going to be me kind of telling you guys what do I personally want to see, because I'm also seeing that on YouTube a lot now too, and on the internet, people like, what do they personally want to see? They throw out characters, throw out stages, throw out ideas, and I have to do that before I even remotely come close to doing speculating and in this predictions of all this new Smash Bros. Game coming out. So without talking about characters just yet, I'm going to save that for the end of the video. Like, what do I personally want to see just in terms of the game itself? First and foremost, we do need a big single player approach with this game. I know Smash Bros. Is a fighting game, it's party, you can have multiple people play. It's a big major multiplayer based game. That's basically what fighting games usually are about. It's about you getting with other people, whether they're in the same room or online, and playing it. So the main focus should still be a lot on multiplayer and on the actual fighting mechanics and who you include on the roster and whatnot as a multiplayer game and stuff like that. But I do think fighting games should have more of an approach with single players. And then with Nintendo, with Smash Brothers, it's the same as if it was with Mortal Kombat or a Tekken or a Street Fighter or a Soul Calibur or whatnot. It should have a major single player focus. And I did feel, as much as I like Smash Bros. 4 on the Wii U and 3DS, it did miss that big single player mode. Like Subspace Emissary was in Brawl, and I know it had its flaws, but it was pretty freaking fun seeing all these characters interact in a story, in cutscenes, interact with each other outside of just, I pick Marth to fight Mario, or I pick Luigi to take on Shulk, and just have matches. You actually see like a story evolve and go forward. And that was the big single player focus on top of like adventure mode or classic mode, whatever, and Brawl. And then Melee had the adventure mode and classic mode type stuff. And every game has had a fairly straight, like at least some single player content. It's never like a major thing, but they did focus a lot on it with like Melee and Brawl especially with Subspace Emissary. And I do think with this new upcoming Smash Bros. Game, whatever it is, Smash 5 or whatever, they need to give us some big single player content so that you have, for the people that are playing by themselves, they might not be always, people don't always play Smash Brothers usually with other people. Sometimes they play it by themselves, to unlock characters and stages and content and whatnot, and also just to experience the game by themselves. Sometimes they're not always with other people, or they don't want to play online, or stuff like that. So they need to focus on having more single player content. And I'm not just talking about like an adventure mode and classic mode, like the standard just beat like 5 semi characters, 10 semi characters, and fight Master Hand at the end. I do think they need to take a second attempt at a Subspace Emissary. They need to take a second attempt at a big cinematic story mode where we see these cutscenes of these characters interacting with each other, teaming up, fighting villains, and that's going to be a good way of having bosses in the game. That's another major thing that was missing in Smash Bros. Like, I missed from Brawl all the bosses you could fight. Like the boss rush mode and all that stuff like that. That was a severely missing thing in Smash 4 as well. I mean, they make Ridley a stage hazard, and they make Metalface a stage hazard, but in Brawl we had a Ridley boss battle. We had the Rayquaza boss battle. We had all these boss battles. Nintendo characters or original, enemy type characters as well, like Taboo and everything. It's like, I missed the boss battles. That was really a fun thing for Brawl. So I would love to see another story mode, a cinematic story mode. You can include voice acting too. And I know some of the characters don't talk. Like Link doesn't talk. He's like, yeah, stuff like that. And I know Mario's usually silent for the most part and stuff like that too and everything. So a lot of Nintendo characters don't directly talk, but they also have a lot of characters that do talk. You have the Metroid cast, they talk. You have the Fire Emblem cast, they talk. Xenoblade, Kid Icarus, all these franchises that have talking. And you could integrate the story into some weird mishmash of some characters talking, some characters not. Maybe like Shulk walks up and's like looking at Link like, that guy's silent, he kind of creeped me out, that kind of thing. You could make comedy out of it, make some sort of action comedy hybrid of like these characters that don't talk with these characters that do talk, and mesh them together, because a lot of the voice actors they get for Nintendo games are good voice actors. You got like Matt Mercer and Charles Martinet and everything. You got all these cool voice actors that usually do like other video games or anime or stuff like that, and then you use them for more than just quotes during a match or win quotes or stuff like that. Use their voice acting talents to develop a really well written comedy action oriented story mode. Take a second attempt at Subspace Emissary, and some characters don't talk, but just integrate that into the story that they don't talk, and just be like, oh, that character doesn't talk or something. I don't know. You could come up with any which way you really want, and even if Link doesn't talk, you now basically have Ganondorf and Zelda and all that talking. The Zelda franchise finally has voice acting in it, and you can have Pokemon characters talking and stuff like that. So it's like, it's not like Lucario doesn't talk. Lucario's a talking Pokemon. There's a lot of Pokemon that talk. So a big integrated story mode that's just really, just that big single player content, a co-op story mode like Subspace Emissary, big cinematic, evil villain trying to destroy all the the Nintendo heroes, brings all the villains together, which gives us like a boss rush mode. You can get like Andross, Giga Bowser, like one of the dragons from Fire Emblem, one of the big giant monsters from Fire Emblem, like and like Deathborn, or some villain, some major villain from these franchises, and make them bosses. Like, that was such a missing feature. And I like boss rush mode. I like playing bosses in like games. So it's like, that was a missing feature I thought from Smash 4. So new story mode, more single player content. I do think they need to include more modes, like for special brawls or for special Smash type stuff. I know we have like the metal mode and the stamina mode and stuff like that, fire flower mode and stuff like that, big mode, small mode. I just mixed it up, small, big, whatever. Turn myself around here. I would like to see them try to do some more variations on that. It'd be kind of cool. So it's like, it's not just the same old Smash Brothers, for when you do special smashes. And I would just like to see them really just increase the game. Where I'm a simple person. I just want to see more new content. That's really like every Smash Bros. I want to see more new content. I want to see them, just add more stuff. But before I even get into characters, another thing I just thought of, just off the top of my head, I forgot to mention. I said the story mode stuff. I said more special bros. I want to see when they do final smashes in this game. Can characters please have like 2? So like how they did with Ryu as the DLC character on Street Fighter and Smash Bros. 4. If you're from far away, he does Hadouken. If you're up close, he does the Shoryuken. Why can't there be more variations to other characters. Because let's face it, people, there's a lot of freaking Final Smashes that are not worth a damn. They don't do jack diddly squat. They are useless. First and foremost, with those kind of Final Smashes, they should change them, because all the Final Smashes should have some sort of effective use. Peach, hers makes no sense and is useless. Like, but if there's a case of there's being certain Final Smashes that don't really have any use to them, give that same character another one that might have some use to them. Like, okay, I don't want to use Peach's, healing heart thing, so I'll use Peach's emotional breakdown, whatever, from Super Princess Peach. She runs around crying tears, people slipping all over the place and on fire and burning people, and they explode and go flying everywhere. I don't care. Every character should have 2 Final Smashes for special circumstances that you can use, so you can be like, okay, I don't want to do this Final Smash, I want to use that one. Because if a character has a crappy Final Smash, you're never going to want to freaking use it, but then you're going to fight someone else that has an awesome one, they're going to want to use it, and they're going to kick your ass with it. It's like, there should be some sort of like, okay, if I need to have a backup choice that might be useful for me, because that character that I'm fighting sure as hell has one. Like a Final Smash they can rely on, unless you don't use Smash Balls or whatever. But it's like, some people do, and it's like, you want to experience a Final Smash, and if your character you're picking has a horrible one, you really don't want to experience it at all, because it's useless. So there's a third thing right there. Did they ever bring back tournament mode? That was supposed to be DLC in Smash 4. I forgot now. Did they ever bring back tournament mode? Bring back tournament mode. There's my 4th one. I want tournament mode back from like Brawl and from Melee. That was so freaking awesome. And that's really about it. I mean, I'm a simple person. I just want to see more content, more character stages and whatnot, the little things like more single player content, like moveset variations, more costumes. I didn't even mention that. Like, we haven't seen, and I mentioned this a lot when I was speculating Smash 4, and they have improved upon it a lot since the days of like the original and Melee, when there was no alternate costumes, it was just colors. They include Wario, having Wario wearing classic Wario, the male-female Wii Fit Trainer, the male-female Villager, the male-female Corrin, the male-female Robin, Elf and Olimar. Lucina was supposed to be an alternate character costume for Marth, and then they made that Dr. Mario and Dark Pit their own characters, and stuff like that. And they've improved upon it, but there's so much more variations on costumes. There's my 5th one right there. And I've stated this in my The 5 list before, what I want to see in the next Smash Brothers, and what should be in the next Smash Brothers, and I did this a whole heck of a lot during Smash 4 speculation. More costumes. I like the colors, but these characters wear a freaking crap ton of costumes. You can give us different costumes for us to play as. Mario Odyssey, you can buy like a crap ton of costumes. I want to play as Skeleton Mario in Smash Brothers. I want to play as Hawaii Mario in Smash Brothers. I want to play as Mario 64 Mario in Smash Brothers. I don't know, it's some different costumes. Link has a freaking crap ton of armor in the new like Breath of the Wild. Like, get him like his the Gerudo outfit, or the Zora outfit, or the giant armor thing from the Gorons. Something like that would be kind of cool. Zelda in Breath of the Wild has her blue like royal outfit and the white dress. Ganondorf could be Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, or Hyrule Warriors if you want to include that version. And Shulk and Rex, or any of the Xenoblade characters have different armors, and Marth and Fire Emblem cast have different variations on their characters from throughout history, especially the classic version, which I'd love to see. The classic Marth would be kind of cool to see, especially at least the outfit if they can't do the full model. But it's like, just more alternate costumes, return tournament mode, 2 character Final Smashes so that you have variation there. Big single player content, and jeez. I'm a simple person. I want to see that little stuff in there, but mostly I just want to see and improve more content. What I like about Smash Brothers the most is having all the Nintendo stuff meshed together in one big giant game. I like seeing the nostalgia in it. I like seeing all the little Easter eggs and what they choose to represent and stuff like that. And it's just like, that's the biggest thing I want to see, is just take old and new Nintendo and just mesh it together, because it's so awesome to see them reference history and give us like trophy histories and stuff like that. So that's basically what I really want to see. Now, in terms of characters, obviously everyone would want me to say, and everyone speculates what characters they want to see in the next Smash Brothers. Well, let's go over at least a small handful of characters I personally want. In terms of Nintendo, I do want to see Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Shulk was like my number one wanted character for Smash 4. He was like the most heavily pushed Nintendo character I wanted to see. Character in general, in fact, considering third parties. I want to see Rex as the next character, and then Shulk and Rex being like this tag team of Xenoblade Chronicles like main characters. Like you can do a team of them now, and he's a cool character, cool attacks, a fun game. He's very likely, so like he's probably one of my top choices. He's not as high up as Shulk was, but he's pretty much top 10 somewhere from number 8 to 5 range. I want to see a new Fire Emblem character, whether that be Celica, which is my heavily wanted Echo's choice, because I think she'd be at least a little bit more interesting than Alm, or the next Fire Emblem 16 character on the Switch that comes out later this year. One of those two, if not both, will probably get on the roster. Personally, I think I would like to just have both. Just cut Lucina and cut Roy and just add them. There's your 6 Fire Emblem character for Smash 5. Marth, Ike, Corrin, Robin, Celica, and the 16 character. The Fire Emblem 16 character. I know I want to see an ARMS character. I haven't played ARMS yet, but the characters are so cool seeing their springy arms. Springman and Ribbon Girl will probably be the top choices for that because they're like the main characters of the game. You can make like an Elf Olimar thing with both of them being the same character slot as alternate costumes of each other. King K. Rool would be awesome to see. I know he's not been in the series a whole lot lately, but King K. Rool would be awesome to see. He should be back in Donkey Kong if they ever do a third Donkey Kong Returns type thing from Retro or something. But he should be in there because he's such a classic character. And I remember playing the old Donkey Kong games on Super Nintendo. It's just I would like to see him back in the series, so at least he has a higher shot for it. And that's really about it in terms of Nintendo characters. I would say that I really truly want. I'm thinking about it now if any other come to my mind. I would love F-Zero to get another character, but that's never going to happen until we get a new F-Zero. Quite frankly, the only character from Star Fox I would ever like to see in there is Crystal, and she disappeared with Command because this new Star Fox Zero that came out years ago decides to go and redo 64, which redid the original Super Nintendo. It's just like saving this Lilac sister from Andross, and she just fell off the face of the franchise, so she'd be the most varied one, and I really don't really want Wolf back, even though I think a lot of people do. Pokemon, okay. Without going on Generation 8 or whatever the Switch game is, I guess Decidueye would be the top choice everyone would ask for. And quite frankly, I think it'd be kind of cool seeing like an owl that can use like a bow and arrow type stuff. I guess that would be kind of cool. And he is probably my top choice now until we start seeing Generation 8 Pokemon, probably by E3. Mario. Captain Toad would be kind of interesting. And you can use your special attacks to move around. I know people say he can't jump, but like he could be like a character that's hard to master, and you use the special attacks to vertically move. Pauline would be kind of cool because of her history with the franchise. She's back with Odyssey, so there's that. Maybe Fawful. I see. And then Zelda. Zelda needs a new character. There's the character I forgot. Zelda needs a new character. And I know I always pushed Impa because she was brought back with Skyward Sword and whatnot. She was in Hyrule Warriors. She hasn't really been used a whole lot lately, though. And quite frankly, I think one of the champions from Breath of the Wild, especially now that it seems like they're pushing Breath of the Wild, because that's obviously what they're going for Link, and I'm assuming Zelda. So, Revali, Mipha, or Bosa, one of them. Pick one of the champions. I personally would pick Urbosa or Mipha, because I think they'd be probably more interesting, even though I think Revali would probably be the most interesting of all of them. Daruk, the powerhouse choice, but I think he's probably the most bland of the choices, though, I'm sorry to say. So I'd probably pick Revali or Mipha, because I think they'd be the most interesting ones. And that's about it for Nintendo characters, but in terms of third parties, Bomberman is my number one choice. I grew up with Bomberman. I love Bomberman. He's probably the third party that's left not in the series that I have the most nostalgic, affiliation with, unless they do like a Crash or a Spyro. And Crash has some chance, as small as it is. Spyro, not so much. But Bomberman is like someone I really want to see. Shantae would be a cool indie choice. I'm starting to barely get into that franchise, and I think she has enough history with him to make sense. And I kind of want to see her, and she has moveset variety and interesting. Shovel Knight might have a chance too. I've been getting into that lately. Rayman Rayman. If they pick anyone from Rayman, it has to be Rayman. I don't want the freaking Rabbids, please. Rayman. Even though I'm not even a big fan of his, I like the series, but I'm not a big fan of his for him being in Smash Brothers. But I'd choose him over the Rabbids any day, and stuff like that. Maybe Travis Touchdown would be kind of a cool choice. Phoenix Wright. Yeah, there you go. Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Hopefully Kingdom Hearts 3 comes to the Switch, please, Square Enix. But yeah, that's basically it. That's basically what I want to see in the next Smash Brothers. Tournament modes and single player content, more alternate costumes and more special Smash, variations and more Final Smashes. And then those characters I said, like Bomberman and Rex and a new Fire Emblem character and Decidueye or Generation 8 Pokemon, or Bomberman and Sora, Shantae, Pauline, I don't know. And that's about it. I'm 20 some odd minutes in, and this is going to be the official start to my Smash Brothers. I'm going to say 5, because until we know for sure, I'm just going to call it Smash 5, like a lot of people online are doing. And before I start getting actual speculation and predictions videos, this is what I had to do, and I hope you guys all like it. And put in the comment section, what do you all want to see in this upcoming Smash Bros. Game? Because Smash season of predictions and speculations is finally upon us. And quite frankly, it feels like my channel is going to be freaking taken over by it, like it was from 2012 to 2014. I'm so looking forward to that. See ya!